Alright, this is going to be a little tutorial in covering in skyloft. It is a covering that most people say is not very good. First step is having your skyloft good and wet. You have it pre-cut for the size of the framework you're putting it on. This is going to be on the bottom of the wing. Okay, that is all, it's all soaked and wet, so we're ready to go there. Next step is you get your framework all covered in your adhesive glue, which is water-based Minwax polyurethane. Buy it at any hardware store usually, or Menards, or Lowe's, Home Depot, anything like that. They'll have it usually, and if not, you can always just eBay it. Okay, and then you get it all over the framework, everywhere that it's going to need to attach really well. Generally, the center section is a spot where you need it to attach good, and you're wanting to do this in a hurry because you don't want to get it dry before you get your skyloft on it. So you just quickly brush it on. And we're just working along here. Very good. Next, we take our covering, and since it doesn't rip like tissue, you can handle it a little bit more, just manhandle it a lot more without worrying about breaking it. You lay it over your structure, and since now it's totally relaxed from being wet, and the moisture you throw on this, generally what I like to do is take a little bit of alcohol along with the water. I would say like a 10% mix of water and alcohol is usually adequate. And I was just cutting a relief spot for the aileron control horn to fit through it. And then we pull it tight over this side and do the same thing. You cut it a relief so that the horn will go through, and that'll work out real nicely. If you see, it's already starting to look like it's going to go on pretty smooth and tight. Now, next step is you get your brush out and you go over top of all of it again. Everything. You start at one side, work your way all the way to the other, and you're just putting clear coat over the whole entire fabric. I just like to brush it on real quick. You want to use a fairly liberal amount. And I just hold on to the brush generally right at the back so I can move the brush real quick, because your time is kind of on a clock. Because you don't have a whole lot of time before you start losing all your moisture out of your material, and then you got to spray it again or whatever. But this, if you want to do it in a reasonable time frame, this is how you got to do it. A lot of people complain about this stuff is it takes so much clear coat to fill the weave because it's got large voids in it. And all that is true. It is not as light as like tissue paper or silk span, or I'm sure polyfilm is lighter, but it doesn't, it's not that it doesn't work bad. It's an easy working material if you know how to use it. And that's basically what I'm going after here. I'm just going after to show you guys that this stuff actually does work fairly well. You know. Alright, so now we got it all. Just check and make sure it's all tight and smooth. Pulling that around. Now, next step is take your iron, make sure it's good and hot, and singe it at the edges. You just pull it around. It should just steam right on, and all you're looking for is the edge to be singed. You're not after anything else other than the edges. And once you get the center done, come out to the tip, and just singe the very tip of the wing. And that'll keep it on. And then the next is the trailing edges. Leading edge. The idea of doing this is just to keep it, so you try to keep all the wrinkles out of the covering possible. Then do the same on the next wing. Pull it at the tip just a little bit. And the trailing edge, just like we did previously. If your iron gets all full of gook, just wipe it off on a pant leg, it comes right off. Now, you see it's pretty smooth. There's a little bit of the iron stuff on it, but for the most part, wing's real smooth. It's ready to dry. You can turn down your iron, and you set it aside. And here is an airplane that is actually covered in skyloft. You can see you couldn't do that with a silk span airplane. You punch your finger right through. It's about the same strength as a monocoat, but you can see it actually does finish fairly well.